Grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. I went to Florida State University, undergraduate and law school. When I was a freshman, when I was in your seats, I was 17 years old. I was 5'3", weighed about 115 pounds. I had spent my entire high school life chasing one girl that never liked me. She regrets it now. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it's always fun to be here with the freshman class because it takes me back to those years. I had a great college experience. I was the manager of the Florida State basketball team, so I was wiping up the sweat spots and picking up the jock straps, and that's how I paid for college. Worked through college, and then in law school I was graduate assistant coach for the basketball team. So I spent 7 years pretty much in a gym and studying accounting. Different job experiences, and it's funny, but I look back at my college years and realize how much of my social preparation and spiritual preparation as well as intellectual preparation took place. And so that's an exciting time. Let me tell you who's in this room. We have the class of 2012. We have 254 men and 195 women. So if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend back home, ditch them. They're losers. They didn't get in here, so good riddance, that's what I say. No, I'm kidding. But I also have learned going to alumni gatherings that a lot of our students end up marrying one another. So you never know if your husband or wife, future one's in here. Marriage is a beautiful thing. I am married. I have 5 children. So I have 4 boys that are 15, 13, 11, 8, and then I have a daughter, Marie. She came after the 4 boys. She's 5. I treat them all the same. Some people say, oh, you're going to spoil the girl. I don't spoil her. She's no different than the guys. Here's a picture of Marie. Little angel. Right here. Hi, baby. Carry it in my wallet. This freshman class is the most diverse in our college's history, which I love. It's one of the goals I have here is to increase diversity on campus. We have over 50 minority students, international students. And that brings our campus minority population to over 150, the highest ever. So I feel very strongly these kind of differences actually strengthen us. They don't divide us. They help us discover that we have in common a lot more than what divides us, it separates us in terms of racial, gender, ethnic differences. And it also helps us discover that we are sons and daughters of God the Father, and that we have that in common, which is much more important. So if you've been raised in backgrounds where you haven't been around a lot of diverse people, I hope you take the opportunity to get to know people that are different from you. When you're in the cafeteria, to eat with people that are different from you, because that's a big part of what happens at St. Vincent College. A great deal of your education is going to occur, of course, in the classroom, no duh. But the role of a Catholic Benedictine college is to make sure you're being educated outside of the classroom, that you're growing. And one of the ways this occurs is by surrounding you with people who don't look like you, who don't pray like you, who don't think or vote like you, who come from different backgrounds. And so embrace that diversity. Don't feel threatened by it. It may be a little different at first, but you'll find how much you grow when you get outside of your comfort zone. And one of the ways we try to encourage that here on this campus is through service learning projects. We want you to be educated outside of the classroom in the school of the poor. And you'll find that when you do that, you grow. When I worked at the White House, and I was there 4 years, and I used to park right on the side of the West Wing. I'd come in the morning, you'd drive in, the dogs would sniff your trunk, and then they would look underneath your car and so forth, and you'd come in, you'd park right on the side of the West Wing. And I remember my first day pulling in there, I had my 2001 Honda Civic, and the guard says, you can park any of these spaces here on the side, but don't park in those first 2 by that door, because that's where the Vice President parks. I'm like, I'm not going to park in his spaces. They won't just tow my car, they'll blow it up. So, but you'd go in and you'd meet a lot of powerful people, you know, and you'd see that the world would call powerful. When I go in the Oval Office, very impressed, you know, to see that's where, you know, a succession of presidents have been heading up our great country. But in my life, the most powerful people I've known have been the poor, because they have the power to change your life. In some ways, you think they have nothing to give. It's not true. They have a great deal to give. And in the process, you discover things about yourself that you never knew. And so, get outside of your comfort zone. It's funny, you'll see kids in college, and I used to, when I was working at the White House, I was invited to speak all over the country, and I was at Yale and Princeton and all these other places. You couldn't pay me to be president of those schools. They wouldn't want me anyway. But what I would see are these kids that were, surrounded by a lot of people at these elite schools that they were all alike, They weren't outside their comfort zone. And then you'll see college kids, hey, I'll shoot this in my arm, or I'll drink that. What is it? I don't care. And they shoot, drink it down. So they'll go do that kind of adventure, but they won't go into a soup kitchen and go and meet fellow people and see what that's like and see if they can give something back. So get outside of your comfort zone, because I think so. I found in my own journey, by the end of my senior year, I was going to Mass more frequently than just weekly, and I thank God that I do. But it wasn't until I was 28 years old, truthfully, that I began really a serious journey. That's when I met Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And I had the privilege to work with her for 12 years, but I met her August 20th, 1985, this great little woman. I guess you all were about 7, 8, 9 years old when she died, so you may know of Mother Teresa of Calcutta. But she, very simple, humble woman, really changed the world through her love and her simplicity. She's a very wise woman. I had the chance to travel a lot with her. I remember one time we were on a very small plane traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast. There's like 6 seats on it. If you've ever been on a little small plane and there's bad weather, the plane gets, it gets tossed up and down if it's bad weather. And that's what happened one day. We were on this little plane and we were getting tossed up and down. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm going to die here. This plane, it just seemed like we were in a lot of trouble. I looked over at Mother Teresa, and she was looking out the window as calm as you could be. She had a rosary in her hands. She was just praying quietly, looking out the window, and I'm panicked, and I'm like looking at her going, I know you're ready, but I'm not. And but then, of course, I thought, well, wait a minute. If this plane goes down and crashes and we get up to St. Peter's, I'm just going to go to him. I'm with her. Party of 6. Can we? I'm in. But I think that through that encounter with her, she did introduce me to service learning. And I met what she described as Jesus in his disguise of the poorest of the poor. It really enriched me, taught me a lot. So I'm going to encourage you. I'll talk about it whenever we're together. But reality is, this is my best shot with you. And after that, you're kind of on your own. So you'll hear more about service learning today. And but I'll tell you, as a college president, and I have my own kids, I also feel like I'm your father in a way while you're here. And so I look at you, and I don't want on my conscience something irreversibly bad happening to you. And we've had kids go out of this college in ambulances from drinking, and I don't like it. When they come back, I see them. And it's not that I'm angry, it's that I'm worried. Because you're rolling the dice when you do that. And I don't need to tell you that. And you'll hear all these lectures and you tune them all out. It's like the sex talk. Just, oh God, here it comes. Drinking talk. But be careful with it. Because I've seen students and it's bad. It's dangerous. So, but you'll get more information. I encourage you to read the student handbook and know the rules.